Hello, beautiful, blessed people, and welcome back to my channel. If you're anything like me, you know that going to the salon to get your nails done has increased along with everything else. And I had to find a new budget-friendly way to get my nails done. So if you want to find out how I did these beautiful nails, stay tuned. So here I'm starting off with 100% pure acetone to take off my clear coat that I have on top of my nails. This is something that you want to do so that you can get down to the base of your nails and not have any kind of residue or oil on top of your nails. I'm also going to file my nails down and kind of give them a quick little shape up. That way they'll be nice and neat up under the fake nails. And here's the nails that I will be using. I've already used these nails, so I actually have an index card that has all the numbers that go with which finger. And so that's what I'm doing here. And I'll have everything listed below in the description. So now I'm going in with a bonding solution on my nail. I found that if you use any kind of bonding solution, it really helps with anything that you need to adhere to the nails, whether it's glue or nail polish, or in this case, dip nail powder. So now I'm going in with the glue. This is how I'm adhering the fake nail to my nail. It's actually a UV glue. And you see me turn on the UV light first. That's because I find that it's a lot easier to go ahead and turn the light on since I'm using both of my hands to, or I'm using my other hand to kind of hold down the nail. I don't want to disturb it. And I find that just turning on the light first and then positioning the nail really helps it. Now I'll sit here and hold the nail in place for about 10-15 seconds before I take my hand away so that the rest of the gel that's covered by my finger in the way can also get hard and can also cure. And I just repeat the process for each finger. So now that they're all on, I'm going to go ahead and shape them. They're a little too long, so I'm actually using my dog's nail clipper to cut off just a little bit of the top just to make them a little bit shorter. And then I'm going in and filing them down to the shape that I like. Still a coffin shape, but just filing them to how I like them now that I cut them down a little bit shorter. Now that they're all shaped, I'm going to buff the top of the fake nail just to give it a little bit of a texture before I go in with the base coat. I'm also going to do another layer of the bonding solution just to help with it to adhere better. So here are the two main solutions you'll need for the dip nail powder. That's the base and the activator, and these are the two dip powders that I'm using, translucent and white. So all you have to do now is take the base coat and do a thin layer and then quickly dip it into your powder. Now I like to just shake off the excess and let it rest and dry completely of what's got adhered to the base, and that was just me taking off some excess base from my cuticle. And you go through this for each nail one at a time, Just dip, shake, and move on to the next nail. Now, I like to leave the powder on the nail just a little bit as I go through this process, just so that it can dry completely to the base, and that when I do wipe it off, everything is dried and won't cause any streaks or anything like that. The key to this is to make sure that the base has dried with the powder on it. So don't be too fast. And then this is me going through and doing it again for my second coat. And you also saw me brush off the nail. You want to do that too so that you're not getting any excess powder on the brush of your base solution, the brush that comes with it. So again, now that I've finished all of the nails for the second coat, I'm going to go ahead and go back and brush off the excess powder that is on the nail. Again, waiting a little bit just so that it makes sure that it's nice and dry. As you see, I go back over those four a little bit before I go to the thumb, just to give it a little extra time to dry. And again, just make sure that you allow your nails a little bit of time to dry, not long, 15-30 seconds before going in with the brush. This way you don't cause any streaking or move any of the powder that hasn't quite dried all the way yet. Now this one I was going back for a third coat just because there was a couple of areas that got missed, probably from the base drying a little too fast. That can happen sometimes and you might need to go in with a third coat. Just make sure to buff it down a little bit more than the other ones. So now I like to go in with the translucent powder as my last step. I like to do this so that when I'm buffing, I'm not buffing away all the color that I just put on. So that's the reason why I started doing a translucent powder on the top. And you just do the same thing, a very thin base coat over the nail and dip it into the powder. Shake off the excess, finish the nail, and then go back through and wipe off, brush off the excess. Now that all the powders are on, you're going to go in with your second step, which is the activator. And this is hardening all the gel powder that we just put onto the nails and preparing it for the next step. I just go through and do each finger And then I might go back one more time, and then I let it dry about 30 seconds before moving on. And now for the fun part. And I say that sarcastically because this part be giving me hell, but it's a necessary step, and that is to buff out your nails. Please go in with a very light pressure to start. This way you don't brush off or scrape off any of the nail powder that hasn't quite dried or is not settled yet. So go in with a very light pressure and just continue to buff and buff and buff and buff till you get it to the shape and the smoothness and the look that you're wanting. Now that that's done, I go through and brush off all the excess that we just filed off. And you're going to want to do step 2 again to reactivate now the top coat that has now been filed down to. And here's how they are looking before the top coat. Now that it's time for the top coat, I'm going back in with the bonding agent again. Again, this just helps to adhere the polish to the nail. And you can use the top coat that comes in the kit. I just find that I like the gel soak off type a lot better. It gives a little bit more of a shine. So that's what I'm going to go in with today. And here is the final look. Everything is dry and good to go. And here's the final look after I put some cuticle oil on. Very professionally looking and a lot cheaper than going to the salon.
My smile lines and the wrinkles have diminished. Triple Power visibly reduces wrinkles, firms, and brightens. I saw results in 1 week. It absolutely works. Revitalift Triple Power from L'Oreal Paris.
It does what it says. Now that gas prices are so high, Domino's is giving you 20% off all menu prices when you order online for a limited time. So hurry